introduce John Hall. So John Hall has been in business for 6 years. Previous types of jobs included a branch manager in bank, a loan officer, and a Marine. His spouse is Pam, and they've been married for 28 years. Very nice. Children, 2 daughters, Cassie, who's 25, and Carissa, who's 21. Those names are very similar. Pets, Ginger, who's a Tibetan Spaniel. Is that a dog or a cat? Little dog? Little dog. Hobbies and interests. He loves sports, and he likes to travel with his family, and he likes laughing a lot.
Me too.
Ticklish? No, sorry. City of residence is Puyallup, and he's been in that city for 14 years. His burning desire is to, I read this wrong at first. His burning desire is to retire his wife from her job at the post office, and I almost read that as to retire from his wife. Something no one here knows about him. He used to play the drums in a country band. Woo! He was in the Marines to make extra money on the weekends.
Nice.
And his key to success, striving to always add value to each relationship. John Hall.
Whoa!
Oh, look at that goofy face right there. All right, so commercial insurance is mind-numbingly boring. So, but I also struggle with kind of talking about myself. But I figured I'd kind of start off by just talking a little bit about me and all that. But anyways, up the little drum deal back there. That's me at 15 years old. And growing up, my dream, I had in my bedroom I had posters all over the wall, and they were rock stars like drummers, and I had pro athletes and supermodels and sports cars like Ferraris and all that. So my dream was to be a drummer in a rock band, and when I wasn't touring, to play tailback for the Seahawks and be married to the Swedish supermodel team, not just one of them, and have sports cars. And how I ended up getting in the Marine Corps was obviously I didn't check any of those boxes. Aim high. I was in the Air Force, but I was aiming high. And how I got in the Marine Corps is kind of a silly story, but I worked in the grocery business. I worked on the night shift, stocking the shelves, and actually your title was Night Stalker, which is kind of creepy. But, and my boss that I worked for, he actually worked for my brother prior to. My brother's a real driver, real hardcore guy. And so he was kind of paying me back when he was my boss. So I got really sick and tired of being bossed around, so I joined the Marine Corps. So that's really really power move, because obviously you never get bossed around the Marine Corps. This is me and Pam. This is a few weeks ago. That's just all the PFC right there.
PFC, yeah. Very poor. Anyways, this is at the Little Chapel of the West in Las Vegas. We spared lots of expense in getting married because we didn't have any money. So, but anyhow, and then this is me and her about 4 or 5 years ago. And here, this is a picture of the girls, again, about 4 or 5 years ago and all that. Thank the Lord, they took after their mother. I only had a couple requests when my girls were born from God, and that was, please don't give them my nose, and please have them, end up just having God's heart and go out and just have a mentality of go serve people and love people and all that, and they have absolutely fulfilled that. They're just amazing young ladies. So. And we remember this guy.
Oh yeah, your first presentation.
Yes, trained professional, so we'll get past him. This is at my oldest daughter, Cassie's wedding, and Carissa's on the left here, next to Chester a cheesy smile over here up on the top. And Cassie ended up is married to a gentleman. He's a PhD. He teaches branding and marketing in business at Eastern Michigan University. Just a super amazing guy. I mean, he's a person that, if I had a checklist of all the things that I wanted for my daughter, he checked every box and then some. He's been amazing. So, and him and I were talking about business, and he goes, I said, well, let me ask you some questions about it. And he goes, well, why would you ask me? He goes, you actually do it. I teach theory. So I'm like, oh. Okay. So anyhow, someone asked you any questions about it. And I did run him through. If you guys have ever seen Meet the Parents and all that, I did run him through the Fokker test. And I have lots of relatives that work in law enforcement and all that, so it wasn't difficult to figure out that he was good to go. And he's still firmly intimidated by me, which I'm going to keep that going.
you know. And the only disappointment in him is he's actually shorter than me, and I told my girls when they were growing up, I go, you have to improve the gene pool. You know, when you're 5'9", 5'10", with a good set of boots, I mean, come on, people, we got survival of the fittest here. Haven't you seen The Walking Dead or anything? And so, unfortunately, you know, we fell a little short. No, I guess a pun intended on that one, but. Yeah. So this is another picture of the wedding and all that stuff, and it was at a beautiful hotel in Detroit. It's called the Whitney. The Whitney's got a pretty amazing story. You should actually Google that and read all about it. It's pretty cool. So I think that's it for pictures and all that. Yeah. So basically, how much time do I have? Okay. So basically, the biggest reason why I do what I do is to back up. I've lived kind of two lives. Up until age 33, I really tried to do everything on my own. I kind of believed that if you had talent, you had you know, a drive and determination and hard work, you could be super successful. And I actually got to that point to where I had tapped out all my talent and all my abilities and all that, and I got ourselves to where we were a minority owner in a business, and we ended up going out of business. We went home on a Tuesday night, everything was fine, came back on a Wednesday to find out that my partner's wife had embezzled a lot of money, and we were way behind, several $100,000 in debt. So I learned a lot about business through that experience. I made sure that no one ever pays my bills again. I pay attention to all that stuff. And at that point, I was pretty low, you know, very depressed, very frustrated and all that. I had bought life insurance several years before, and I was to the point where I was so depressed that I decided that I was going to ram my Tahoe at about 80 miles an hour into a tree. And because I had enough life insurance, my wife would be better off, my daughters would be better off, and I felt like I was a loser at that point and felt like there was really no reason for me to exist. And the reason I tell you that story is, no, I don't feel that way today. I'm good. I'm happy. So everything's good. But don't walk by people. You never know who you're talking to and what they're going through and what their journey is. You know, just be patient. You know, yes, it is about helping people have business, but it's also just about, you know, you can chuckle about this enough. I'm just a firm believer, love people. Treat them really well. Treat them first class. Everybody has a journey. Everybody has a story and all that. So the reason I don't talk about commercial insurance is who gives a damn? It's just a bunch of policies. It's the people that I care about. I really love people, and I want to make sure that they're properly taken care of, and I want to add value to them as a friend. I don't want to just be their agent and all that. And so that taught me an important lesson that don't ever walk by me, because I had met a person 2 years before that, not by coincidence, that I reached out to him, and that started me going in the right direction. And I look back and think about how different my daughter's life would have been, how different my wife's life would have been had I made that horrible decision. So please, 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 if you're struggling, seek help, and you can reach out to anybody, you know, and don't ever judge anybody based off their journey, because you've not had to walk in their shoes. So you have your own cross, you have your own challenges. So not to end a downer, but guys, love you with all my heart. So thank you.
All right.